All right, let's talk about something truly incredible that's happening inside every one of us, right this second. It's a process that acts as our guardian, but as we're about to find out, it can also be a saboteur.
I mean, just imagine for a second. What if your body had its own secret recycling program running around the clock? A little cleanup crew inside every single cell, just constantly tidying up, taking out the trash, and making sure everything runs perfectly.
Well, guess what?
It does.
And it has a name, autophagy. It literally comes from the Greek for self-eating. And this isn't some minor biological footnote. Oh no, this is a big deal. In 2016, a scientist named Yoshinori Osumi actually won the Nobel Prize for figuring out the secrets of this very process. That's how important it is.
So let's get to know this cleanup crew a little better and see how it keeps our cellular houses in such pristine order.
The whole thing is just so elegant. First, the cell spots some junk, maybe some damaged proteins or organelles that are past their prime. A membrane, kind of like a fresh garbage bag, starts to form around all that waste. Then, whoop, that bag seals itself up, creating this neat little package called an autophagosome. And finally, that package gets shipped off to the cell's recycling center, the lysosome. It's full of these powerful enzymes that just dissolve the junk into tiny building blocks the cell can use again. So cool.
And the job this crew does, it's absolutely essential. We're talking about keeping everything in balance, providing energy when you're, say, fasting, and even fighting off nasty invaders like bacteria and viruses. It also clears out old, junky cells that could become cancerous. It's a true cellular superhero.
But, like in any good story, things are rarely that simple. Our hero, well, it has a dark side.
Which leads to the big question, right? If this process is designed to protect us, to keep us healthy, how on earth can it sometimes turn against us and become the villain of the story? And here it is, the core of the issue, this incredible duality. On the one hand, autophagy is our protector, our janitor, our bodyguard. But on the other hand, this powerful survival switch can be hijacked. Viruses can trick it. And as we're about to see, it can even become a secret weapon for one of our deadliest diseases. So let's dive into that dark side, starting with autophagy's really complicated relationship with cancer. Okay, so picture this. A tumor is growing so fast that it outgrows its own blood supply. The cancer cells in the middle are starving for oxygen and nutrients. You'd think they'd die, right? Well, they do something wickedly smart. They crank up autophagy. They start eating their own guts, recycling their non-essential parts for fuel. It's a terrifyingly effective survival tactic that helps them live and grow in conditions that would kill any normal cell.
And it's not just cancer that's figured this out. Pathogens are master manipulators. Just look at this. H. pylori, the bacteria linked to stomach cancer, it actually blocks the final recycling step, creating a safe little house for itself inside our cells. Then you've got Epstein-Barr virus, which can stop autophagy from even getting started, helping it hide from our immune system. And hepatitis B does the exact opposite. It hits the accelerator on autophagy to help it make more copies of itself. They all turn our own defense system into a weapon against us.
Okay, now let's switch gears and go somewhere the story takes a really surprising twist. Inside our grains as they get older.
Now the logical assumption, right, is that as we age, our little cleanup crew gets old and tired. It slows down, junk starts to build up in our brain cells, and that's why our brains age. It makes sense, but what if recent research is telling us something completely different? What if the exact opposite is true? Take a look at these images because they tell a really powerful story. These are slices of brain tissue. On the left, from younger brains. On the right, from brains over 75 years old. See all that dark staining? That's highlighting the key proteins of the autophagy system. And just look at the difference. It's so much more intense in the older brains. This is the proof. The cleanup system isn't shutting down, it's kicking into overdrive. And the data here just drives the point home. Researchers looked at specific markers, like a protein called HSP70. In older brains, the levels were more than double what they found in younger brains. Another key protein, LAMP2A, saw a huge jump too. The numbers don't lie. The system isn't failing, it's working overtime.
So what in the world is going on? Well, scientists think this isn't a sign of chaos. They call it a compensatory adaptive response. Basically, in plain English, our brain cells know they're under more stress as they age. So autophagy ramps up, it works harder, it fights to keep those neurons clean and working, trying to hold back the tide of aging. It's a survival response.
So when you put all this together,
this complex, two-faced process. It opens up some incredible possibilities for the future of medicine.
Because understanding this duality is everything. The next frontier, the real holy grail, is learning how to control it. Imagine having a dimmer switch for autophagy. Maybe we could turn it up to help clear out all the toxic junk that builds up in diseases like Alzheimer's, while at the same time finding a way to turn it down in cancer cells to starve them of their fuel source.
And that really brings us to the ultimate question. We have this powerful, ancient mechanism in our bodies, a true double-edged sword that can both save us and harm us, if we can just learn how to wield it properly, to boost its good side and shut down its bad side. Could that be the key to healthier aging and maybe even a way to treat our most stubborn diseases? The final chapter of that story is still being written, one cell at a time.